Hi guys, I hope you're all well and welcome to episode 115 of the James Layton Fitness Podcast. So within this specific episode we'll be discussing a very common concern that I hear all of the time, and this often comes from when I'm working with brand new online coaching clients and personal training clients. The first 7 to 10 days approximately of starting any brand new training program, and that is the amount of soreness that clients typically have. And this is extremely important to note that this is just perfectly normal, especially if you're a beginner or you're returning from a layoff, so a period of not training. It's critical to realize that you will be extremely sore for the first 7 to 10 days, and just to appreciate that it's normal, and in addition to appreciate that it will improve after that first 7 to 10 days. You won't be that sore all of the time. However, there's another possibly more important point here, and that is to not be concerned when you're not as sore as you were at the start of the training program. So what typically happens, you'll be very sore for the first 7 to 10 days after starting a new training program, and then that soreness will never be quite as bad ever again. And typically a lot of people get confused because they associate that soreness with the program working, and therefore when they're not quite as sore as they were at the start of the program, they get concerned because they think in their heads that the training program's no longer working. But it's absolutely critical to realize that soreness is not an indicator of progress. It's not an indicator of progress within the fat loss phase or a muscle building phase. You're just going to be sore at the start of a brand new training program, and then you won't be quite as sore thereafter. But don't be concerned when you are sore, because it's just normal to appreciate that will be the case at the start of any brand new training program. But likewise, when you're not quite as sore 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, do not panic. The program's still working, and soreness is not an indicator of progress. And that brings me on to my next point, and that is what you should be focusing on with regards to your weight training component within a fat loss phase and the muscle building phase. And it's not how sore you are after the session or for several days afterwards. It is strength maintenance within the fat loss phase. So don't get me wrong, you should still be striving for progress within the fat loss phase, and you should make some strength gains initially at the start of the fat loss phase. But as calories are being reduced, as cardio is increasing, it just becomes that much more difficult to make strength gains, and therefore strength maintenance is your main goal within the weight training component within the fat loss phase. And the reason why is because we have two main objectives within the fat loss phase: losing body fat and then maintaining as much muscle mass as possible. We achieve that via sufficient protein and preserving our strength within our weight training sessions. Now, with regards to the muscle building phase, the main objective with regards to the weight training component is increasing volume over time. That is the biggest determining factor for influencing muscle growth. So volume is basically sets times reps times load, so it's really the total amount of work you're doing. So as such, this should be increasing over time within the muscle building phase. Couple that with sufficient protein and energy surplus, you will gain muscle. Now that may sound complex to some individuals, but the best way to approach this is to simply focus on getting stronger within the reps and sets you're already doing. If you're squatting 100 kilograms for 5 sets of 5, if you're then squatting 105 or 110 kilograms within weeks ahead for 5 sets of 5, volume would have gone up by default, because remember, load is part of that volume equation. So that should be your main focus within the muscle building phase, and strength maintenance within the fat loss phase. Focus on that as your focus on those two principles within the fat loss phase and the muscle building phase, as opposed to how sore or not sore you are within your weight training sessions. So hopefully that's been useful. The reason why I think it's useful bringing this up is this question crops up all the time when I'm working with new clients. They're extremely sore initially, and they're usually concerned because they're very sore, and then they're usually concerned when they're not as sore within the weeks ahead. So it's just critical to realize that soreness is not an indicator of progress, and focus on the other principles I've discussed within your weight training sessions within the fat loss phase and then the muscle building phase as well. So thank you very much for listening. I look forward to speaking to you next week. If you're still yet to subscribe to my free book, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, if you go to James Layton, Layton Fitness.co.uk, you'll see a tab at the top of the page called free book, and you can download that immediately. Thank you very much. Take care.